Close-up of the very experienced Mats Hummels, a 63rd international for him, World Cup winner. And also Jerome Boateng. When you see him in that line, you realise how big Boateng is. He's enormous at 6'3". A real man-mountain. Let's have a reminder of the two teams then. So Germany, just a little surprise for me, Evan. Julian Draxler in the side. Sane, I think, picked up a little bit of a knock in training.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who I think can fill in quite a few positions, playing behind Timo Werner. And I don't think that Joachim Löw is afraid to use any of the players who probably fringe in terms of starting in the World Cup. I'd be surprised if Draxler doesn't make the squad, but as I said, I don't expect him to be a fixture in their lineup in the opening games in the World Cup.
Apart from Busquets coming back in, maybe one or two tweaks, I don't think Rodrigo will start the World Cup, but that's very much, I think, the Spanish back five, including the goalkeeper.
Yes, I don't think there'll be too many changes defensively with that. As you said, Diego Costa will probably come back as the figurehead. Who knows? Alvaro Morata may return to the squad. One or two changes, of course, but once again, a very strong outfit.
Two captains, Khedira on the left-hand side, and of course Sergio Ramos, only the 6th European player to 150 caps, and Willie Collum, a Glaswegian teacher, is the match referee. Good to see him here. He was elevated to the world's elite list of referees a while back now, though he won't be going to World Cup 2018. That man will. Mesut Ozil says his prayer, recites the Quran before a game. Germany in the green and white, and Spain, of course, the Rioja, the Red Furies, another nickname for them. There's Thomas Müller. Thiago is teammate at Bayern Munich, actually born in Italy, Thiago. Off we go. One of the most meaningful of the World Cup 18 warm-up games, that's for sure. Germany winners of the competition in Brazil, Spain winners of the competition in Johannesburg. And a sloppy ball immediately makes a present of it to David Silva. He's been in sparkling form for club and country all season. Iniesta, a scruffy sort of a pass back in by Carvajal, one back immediately by Thiago.
Actually, wasn't a great ball from Andres Iniesta. And to Carvajal, he had to wait for that one to drop before he could really try and drive it across the area.
There's a thought in Spain that Rodri, the Villarreal youngster, would make his debut in the Busquets holding role. Busquets is out injured, picked up an injury the other day, but it looks as if anyone fills that role, it's going to be Thiago.
Yes, and he'll have to be disciplined, because if he's got Iniesta and Koke alongside him, they're certainly two offensive players.
And in Kroos, who rarely misplaces a pass. Hummels, and here's Boateng, 69th game for Germany. Steady centre-back pairing. As far as Thomas Müller goes, this man Boateng is the king of the German side. Suspicion of a handball, David Silva appeal, but Willie Collins having none of it. Here's Jonas Hector, picked up a foot injury early on in the season, back in the squad today. Little dummy in the middle, it nearly comes through, and De Gea didn't go to ground, didn't commit himself. Ozil's there. Both sides a little bit sloppy in the opening exchanges.
And Ozil was a little bit slow to pick up as well on that ball that was left for him. A nice dummy. I think it was Julian Draxler who just let the ball run through his legs. Unsure, he was on his right side. If it's probably on his left or he's moving from the other side, he probably hits it first time, even on the stretch.
Joachim Löw linked with just about everyone for a move after the World Cup finals. Real Madrid, Arsenal, Bayern Munich. But, of course, he's had the bulk of his career as a coach with Germany. Was championship winning manager with FC Tirol of Innsbruck in Austria.
There's a guy with a good record, Lopetegui.
Unbeaten so far. Comes from the Basque country. And he's brought in a lot of players to the squad from a variety of clubs, actually. Going back to the old days of the way Spain used to do it, trying to balance up the squad with players from Barca, Real Madrid, and also from the Basque clubs. 6 players here from Real, 3 from Barcelona, so less than half of the squad. Atletico Madrid have 3, Chelsea and Valencia 2, and the rest of the squad picked from 8 other clubs.
Yeah, it should be based on how good you are, isn't it? Whether you're playing for Levante or anybody else near the bottom, Osasuna, whichever division. Well, of course, you probably have to be in the top flight to get into this squad.
The ball off by Isco. Jordi Alba pulls it back in, looking for the run of Silva. Silky movement by Spain. Lopetegui's had 16 games in charge, won 12 and drawn 4 of them.
This is on the back of 20 undefeated in 20 matches as the under-21 coach, so he's a guy who's used to winning at all levels.
The Euro title, under-21 level, and also at under-19 level. He's been part of that Spanish setup now for some 8 years. A Real Madrid player, Barcelona player. They will look to clear it away accurately. His distribution is superb. Ter Stegen, he'll have noticed today, Manuel Neuer, big statement, I'm fit, first time for ages, I'm 100% fit, he said. Picked in by Boateng. It's Kimmich.
Well, let's see how he returns, Manuel Neuer, in the Bayern goal in the next few games. This guy's pretty handy for 2 mistakes, isn't he?
Sorry, Evan, that national award for Kimmich, by the way, came on the back of an ever-present run in the qualifying. It's a lovely ball by Iniesta. Spain lead. 5 minutes gone. Rodrigo Moreno justifies his inclusion for the starting lineup. Brilliant. So very typical ball by Iniesta.
And the movement is outstanding. He doesn't move, and then Iniesta's got no option but to play it into feet. As soon as he sees that Iniesta's got a yard or so, he can decide, stand my ground. He would have received it and been able probably to turn and shoot, but Hummels is sleeping. He's ball watching, no idea what Rodrigo is. That's a super finish. Ter Stegen comes out, clips it with power. Great finish.
Well, he's brimful of confidence. He has 16 goals for Valencia this season. And that's his second for his country. He made his debut against Luxembourg in 2014, and he had a 3-year gap to last October and his recall against Albania, and he scored in that game. It's one contribution to World Cup qualifying.
Can't underestimate how important that goal is for Rodrigo Moreno. Be under pressure tonight, of course. Costa, we believe, is the number 1.
Just to remind you that Morata left out of this squad. The only one. Pedro didn't make it either. Busquets has a foot injury. Great strength in depth, both of these countries. Here's Mesut Ozil. Kimmich. In all 5 games when they won the Confed Cup last summer. It's a team of winners at international level, all the way up from the junior ranks.
And there's great patience in the way they play their football. I don't think they'll be too unnerved by going a goal behind. I think Joachim Löw will be a little bit disappointed that they've been sloppy on more than one occasion. In the opening seconds, indeed. And Hummels and Boateng in the middle, too far off. Pretty accomplished striker who finished with aplomb.
23rd meeting between the two countries. Germany have won 11 and Spain 7. It's very open, very attacking in the opening exchanges. Here's Kimmich with a lovely ball back in. Beautiful ball. And the eventual shot by Draxler is deflected away, and in the middle Timo Werner couldn't quite climb high enough.
Well, that's a good ball from Kimmich, isn't it? It's a good height. I'm not sure what happens here. He just misses it. Yeah, he just misses it. Maybe he's thinking that De Gea is going to come out and have a piece of him. Should have connected with it.
Not a giant. He's 5'11", Werner. He's in there again. It's smacked away by the goal scorer, Rodrigo. Now Hector, with Liverpool a couple of years ago, and being linked again in some circles with a move to Anfield. That's a iffy header back by Jordi Alba. Ramos had to react smartly. Turns 32 next week. Does this man on the ball? Thiago has fouled Khedira.
But even the best players can be forced into making mistakes in all areas of the field. Spain, who love to have that little bit of time on the ball, they pass it so easily, but good pressure from Germany. Has won in this free kick.
Kroos will take it. Hummels was coming in. Oh, that's a great effort. Hector has 3 goals for his country and can hit them from range. And it wasn't far off target.
That was a good strike, wasn't it? Just got a little bit too high and always over the bar, dipping, moving wide as well. Good response you would expect.
Torn ankle ligament against Arsenal back in September and only returned in January, Hector. And he was a regular during the qualifying period. Actually scored a couple against San Marino. They take Germany to Russia. They had a 100% record, 10 wins from 10. The only 100% qualifying record in Europe. Kimmich back to Boateng. He has it again. Bayern Munich teammates there, of course. And there's another one, Hummels. Khedira. Ozil. Good football here by Germany, even though they're trailing. Crisp, accurate, short passing. And Muller was in the penalty area. The final ball in.
Yeah, I think that was actually meant for Ozil. He was hoping that his teammate was just going to follow and return for that 1-2. Generally a very good purpose and intent with the way they pass the ball, Germany. When they're behind, of course, it just ramps up a little bit.
Spain's qualifying record for the World Cup finals was far from shabby. 9 wins and a draw from then 10 games. The draw was in Italy. It was crucial away. 1-1 it was there.
Yeah, that was the game that really put them enabled them to be in a strong position. They thumped the Italians at home 3-0. They've got a few good players out, actually, Germany. There's a couple of people who could give them a little bit more flair, if you like, on the flanks. Now Marco Reus is injured again, unfortunately, the Dortmund player. As is Mario Götze, still trying to find his way back fitness-wise.
Schürrle as well, not in the squad. Joachim Löw said they have to be very careful about Reus. Out for a long time, missed the last World Cup finals as well. Set it away by Thiago. Talk about the Germans winning titles at age groups, so do the Spanish. And Thiago won the under-17 title, he won the under-21 twice. scored a hat-trick in the final against Italy in 2013. And 5 of the squad came through that team. It's something that England need to work on, Evan, isn't it? Bringing players through from the younger age groups, which have been so very successful in the last 12 months, but actually bringing them through to the senior team.
There's the goal again. That's a lovely pass, isn't it, from Andres Iniesta. As he opens his body and he sees the movement, play the ball and let the striker do the rest.
He did a spell at Bolton, didn't he? Wasn't a great success there, but he successfully beat Marc-Andre ter Stegen, the Barcelona goalkeeper.
Yeah, you're right, Jonathan. You know, bringing the players through and actually sending the best young players as well to the big tournaments. And even if they've got some senior caps, let them go and experience the tournament football. If you believe they are going to be as good as they will be 3-4 years down the line, and give them that experience of being away from home and with their contemporaries for a while and trying to make it at that level.
Free kick against Jordi Alba. And through his man, down went Werner. He was unbeaten as a German international in his 10 appearances. Tracks through, makes the run out wide intelligently to open up a space to Ozil. Didn't make the best use of it. Here's Khedira. Darting up from the back, testing for De Gea.
Well, the idea was nice, just a little bit too much airtime.
You know that earlier move when De Gea stayed on his feet? It's very much the modern way of goalkeeping, because they realise just a touch will send a player down. I think you're going to see more and more of that. Goalkeepers almost standing up to a runner in the box.
Don't start me on goalkeepers, please, John. They're still a protected species.
Silva. Switched away to Jordi Alba, who turned 29 on Wednesday. Barcelona defender. You know, they chucked him out when he was 14. Jordi Alba. But, were wise enough to bring him back. What a career he's had, 8 trophies. Thiago. Iniesta. And here's Alba again. He scored actually in his scored 2 in his last 2 games for Spain up from left back. There's Isco.
To be patient against Spain. Especially when you are behind.
What do you make of Isco as a player? He's 25 now. This is only his 26th appearance for Spain. He's really coming to the fore now, I think, on this international stage.
Yeah, it takes time, you know, when you're trying to break into a squad that has won the Euros and won the World Cup, and so many plays for Barcelona, Real Madrid, particularly, was so dominant in the side, and he is, of course, at Real Madrid. It's never easy, you know. It's hard to displace those guys, and you play a couple of matches over the course of a few weeks, then you don't play for a few months. You know, how do you prove that you are better than Iniesta, better than Koke, better than Xavi when he was in the squad? It's an almighty job to do that. Keep doing what you're doing at one of the big clubs in world football, and you'll get your chance. He's grown at Real Madrid, hasn't he? He's had a little bit more game time in the last year or so. He's been big for them when he's come off the bench as well in the last couple of seasons, and of course coaches will take note of that.
He seems to have a meandering, wandering role. Isco. Rodrigo getting involved again.
He's a typical modern day Spanish player. The control is extremely precise. He sees the pass, he can play it, he runs with the ball well. His goal return is probably not as good as it should be for somebody who plays further forward than the likes of Thiago, for example.
And here comes Spain again. They've got a man over in the middle. Silva took it, and ter Stegen came and claimed it, and I wonder if Silva might have left it there for his teammate coming through, Koke.
Koke could have hit it first time a little bit more easily. Once Silva took the touch, he had to be silky, to be just a yard or so away from him at most. If not, he was going to run away from him, and Ter Stegen gobbled it up quite easily in the end.
Draxler, Hector with the cross, not really cut out, and Muller tried to set up Ozil, didn't get that far. Silva was dawdling.
In his defence, however, Jonathan, he was running at pace, David Silva, in order to make up, to get to the ball. There was a big hole to run into.
Muller bundled into his marker and he's fouled him. He's fouled Jordi Alba. Great take that from Isco.
Yeah, Hector completely misjudged it. Isco took it so easily. You're right, it's one for Koke really just to bend home. Obviously didn't give David Silva the shout, so that was his ball.
Ter Stegen was a regular in the German World Cup qualifying campaign. Played 5 of their games, half of their games conceded just a couple of goals. There's Toni Kroos, 11 trophies at Bayern, 6 at Real Madrid.
There's real competition, isn't there, from number 1 goalkeeper. 2 very fine goalkeepers there to choose from.
Here's Kimmich. Only 23, Joshua Kimmich. And he's found the gap, and Boateng has found him. And out by De Gea. Here's a frightening thought for you. 16 of the Germany squad will probably be around for World Cup 22. That's the way they do it. They'll take players to Russia, but they have no intention of playing in the summer, unless they're pressed by injury or suspension, but they take them for the experience. This is what you were talking about earlier. They'll take younger players and they bleed them in.
Yeah, give them the taste sometimes before they're actually ready. As you said, unless there are quite a few injuries during the summer, you don't expect too many of them to get game time. But at least the tournament then is not completely new by the time, 3-4 years later, when they are physically ready and their form is good enough, of course, and they make the squad, they can just handle things a little bit better. It does help, of course, if you come into a team of winners. And just the 1 or 2 changes over a season or two, you don't make wholesale adjustments, you don't all of a sudden retire 3 or 4 big players at once. Allow that transition to happen a little bit more smoothly.
Unbeaten in 21 games since the Euro 16 final, so reached the semi, Germany. And they've got players who are sitting in the stand with great skill. Chan and some talent there. Miroslav Klose on the left-hand side. Bierhoff, who's the team liaison manager, isn't he?
And there's a man who has to make it all work once again.
He says he, as national coach, must not be flag waving in the wind. He has to make the right decisions time and time again. Not made many wrong ones, has he? Boateng. On by Hector, a little touch by Draxler.
I think that phrase means hoping that things just don't work out by chance. Actually having a plan, isn't it?
Silva with a little touch where that's offside. Rodrigo Morena. But they move the ball at such pace when they counter.
Yeah, if you look at the Spanish squad over the last, 8 years or so, in fact it's 10 years since 2008, since they became European champions.
Werner looking for Müller.
Well, Fernando Torres, who was in his prime round about then, between 2008 and 12. And too many fast players, are they, who wear the colours of a national team. As you said, they move it swiftly. And they don't waste their teammates running as well. If somebody is in the right... They play the obvious pass, is what I said, the easy one. Somebody in front of you can see him. He's normally in a good position to receive the ball.
Torres scored the winner, of course, in the Euro 2008 final against Germany. In the 2010 semi-final, his team was beaten by A Puyol goal in Durban, that was. Oh, that's a lovely ball through, and a chance squandered. Pushed wide by young Werner, but it was a beautiful ball played into him.
I think it's been flagged for offside. Oh, that's tight, isn't it? PK's beaten, drags his shot. Be disappointed that he doesn't touch the target, hit the target. Being flagged or not. He's trying to place it, which is not a bad thing. It's not really out of his feet, so he went for this sort of safer option. Just wide anyway.
Youngest player to 150 Bundesliga appearances, Timo Werner. Passed that mark earlier this month against Stuttgart. And scored at the weekend, Leipzig's first ever win against Bayern. He actually started on the bench that day, came on after 10 minutes, and he went off about 5 minutes before the end. And there was concern that he wouldn't be fit to start, the German number 11. Isco. Oh, lovely ball, just popped off to Thiago. Silva instinctively knew.
Yeah, you didn't have to look.
Can you coach that?
Yes, you can at a very young age. I think it's easier to coach, actually, into players who are actually not particularly quick, because they appreciate that they can't, as kids do, we all did, is if you have the ability, the speed, the strength to run away from people with the ball. Everybody likes to dribble. Early on, if you have good coaching and you...
There's Iniesta, surrounded by Green. Rodrigo Moreno, support arriving. Isco with a little shimmy, didn't get through that time. Kimmich, a little tight triangle, well played Germany getting out until then. Just got a little bit dawdling with Müller. Kimmich, pressure from Silva. His teammates didn't help him there. Silva to Iniesta, still the passing wizard. A wonderful player he's been. Oh, lovely, lovely. Isco. Iniesta's crept into space. He was tackled and tackled well by Hector, but he is having a wonderful game. Andres Iniesta rolling back the years at 33. He's involved again, and was a little foul on Isco.
Yeah, Khedira had enough of the tippy-tappy stuff, the German captain, and committed a foul. There's so much trust in each other, isn't there, just to be able to receive the ball under pressure. Admittedly, Germany not flying into tackles, it's not overly physical, not yet, but if they toy with the host like that a little bit more, then Khedira won't be the only one who decides that enough's enough.
Iniesta still very much at the heart of his team, and this is 124th game for Spain. Koke is yet to score for his country at senior level. Wants to play a bigger role at the World Cup finals than he did at the Euros, where he came on as a substitute just once. And Silva there will whip the free kick across, and Ramos was up from the back, and here's Julian Draxler now for Germany. Thought he'd overrun it, but he found Müller. He couldn't get the pass away. Here's Isco. 26 minutes gone, Evan. Isco and Iniesta have been superb.
The ability to glide away from people. At full stretch, they're just a little bit more comfortable with the ball. We saw Draxler all of a sudden, bit of space. He's hardly seen it. And good plays, no matter how accomplished you are, when you've not seen it, all of a sudden then you want to do something a little bit out of the ordinary. He ran with it. He was at full stretch. He toe poked it to Müller, who was at full stretch, wasn't able to get the ball through to Werner. And Spain has the ball back once again.
Germany 0, Spain 1. Time to tell you about games we have coming around the corner for you tomorrow morning. Join us at 11:45 on 1HD4K HD for Tranmere Rovers against Eastleigh in the Vanarama. England under 21, Romania under 21 tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Germany against Brazil Tuesday. Efren and I lucky enough to be doing that one as well. Here's Silva. And Moreno tried to find him with a return, and it went wide.
I just thought he was going to drop his shoulder to the right and move to the left. David Silva wins the ball back. This was that passage of play down in the corner. That was a joy to watch.
Yeah, he knows all about Iniesta, but his team can't get to grips with the man they've called the Pale Knight in his time. Iniesta, the illusionist, one of his Spanish nicknames.
Not easy to make the transition from a great wide player to an equally great central midfielder now, if you like. He plays most of that position for Barcelona and for the national team, but when you can caress the ball and are able to see play so easily and find them, of course you still have to maintain your fitness and your desire, of course, to play at this level, and he's done that superbly well.
I think he's looked a little bit off the pace, Muller.
Muller's like that, you know, in lots of games actually. He doesn't, technically he's not as proficient as a lot of these players. You don't see him getting involved in too much of the one-touch delicate play, even for Bayern Munich, but he's a great finisher of moves. That's his ability, you know, to find space and be brave enough as well, you know, to do what is the hardest thing to do in football, is to make that final touch and stick it into the back of the net. So his role is not to be involved too much in the build-up plays. His best work is done further forward.
Golden Boot winner at World Cup 10, Silver Boot winner at 2014. That's a little bit careless, given away by Carvajal. Werner, support arriving in the middle, good kick up through the gears, and it's a good job that Ramos missed the cross. He might have poked it beyond his own goalkeeper. It's cleared by Jordi Alba, and here's Isco. It's 3-on-3. Khedira trying to get back for Germany and getting back. Isco, Silva is in the wide position. Has he delayed a little bit too long, I wonder? Iniesta arriving. Here's Rodrigo Moreno back into the middle. They've slightly overplayed it, and it's lifted over in the end by Iniesta.
No, that's a shame. A great move. The final ball actually from Rodrigo Moreno was betwixt and between, just a little bit behind Koke, and not quite on the money for Isco. And Iniesta balloons over. We talked about the lack of pace, or we felt that there was lack of pace in the Spanish back line, didn't we? Werner's exposed it not once but twice, flagged offside and pulled the shot wide, but that was nice acceleration past Gerard Piqué once again. Nobody was able to take advantage of the cutback. So if there is one area that, you know, we do feel that they are slightly vulnerable, is it's in the back line. Of course, you have to have the ball for long enough to stretch them.
Centre backs 31 is Kimmich, and with a little touch on, and it's kneed away by Gerard Piqué, World Cup winner, European champion.
Philip Lahm enjoying a glass of something.
One of the world's greatest ever fullbacks, I think. So unassuming and underrated, I think. Here comes that corner kick, headed away by Rodrigo Moreno, back in there by Kimmich. Perfect weight on the ball from Iniesta. Goodness me. And no free kick given.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Johnny Sector did what any good defender should do. If you can't get the ball, put your body in so the opponent is not able to retrieve it.
That was the left back though, up there, furthest forward Spanish player. 31 minutes gone. Germany 0, Spain 1. 6 wins in the last 7, Spain. So it was nearly given away. Koke now out by Jordi Alba.
That might be the only hurried clearance he plays tonight, Jordi Alba, on his right foot.
So not seen a great deal of him. Khedira. Ozil again. Spain, by the way, have lost 7 times in 40 matches since World Cup 14. When they were found wanting. Tight 1-2, no foul on Iniesta. It's a good challenge by Ozil. Boateng. Did well to find Kimmich. Ozil, 1-2 play, lovely give and go, and off to Müller. Draxler. Hector in support, drove it across. A German corner.
Yes, and drove it well. I don't think it was on target. Took a deflection that sent it beyond the post.
Kroos, lovely ball in again. It came off Piqué, though Ramos was behind him. ...143 international appearances between the two... ...243 appearances between the two Spanish centre-backs. Ozil picking his passes now. Kroos. Hector back to him.
It'll be a difficult pairing to shift, one day, although I think Cesar Azpilicueta for Chelsea's a top-class defender, and he can fill in that right back as well. I imagine that he's going to get a few caps over the years.
Shows the strength they've got. If he can't get into this side, he's on the bench. And it's like Nacho Monreal can't even get in the squad. Carvajal, he's been a little bit iffy in possession, Carvajal, a couple of times. There again, he was caught slumbering. Germany quick to press him, just as Spain have been quick to press Kimmich.
Well, I would choose Azpilicueta ahead of Carvajal at fullback. I think he's a much more rugged defender.
Kroos, Khedira. Müller, great strike, terrific equaliser. Really good hit for his 38th international goal. And his first in a year. 1-1.
No, I've not seen every goal that Thomas Müller scored for the national team or indeed Bayern Munich. He does need to get involved in a build-up play. Jonathan, this is what he does, but not too often from outside the box like that. He's very much a penalty box goal scorer. It's a wonderful strike, isn't it? Not closed down, Iniesta's closest half-hearted attempt, and he guides that with power. It's not that far away from De Gea. Actually, I think it takes him by surprise.
Not great backlift either, was there?
It's a side foot, isn't it? It's almost like one of those free kicks that we see the modern day players taking, and they hit it with a side foot, gets up and over the wall and comes down with pace. He did that with the ball just moving a little bit. That was a sort of smug acceptance that, oh, well, finally we've done it. We played awfully for 35 minutes and we've got ourselves back on level terms. Been outplayed really, Germany, but a brilliant strike from a top-class goal scorer.
Will Spain respond again? Silva, Isco, Jordi Alba. Not the best of balls into the near post where Silva had made the run.
Well, Werner looked the most dangerous of the forward players for Germany. Muller had made one foul on his near touch line and hardly touched the ball. Sight of goal. He's past De Gea before he can not quite blink, because he got close to it in the end, the Man United keeper, but not able to keep it out.
This goal in 3 days shy of 12 months since he netted against Azerbaijan away in a World Cup qualifier. Scored 5 in the qualifying campaign. Thomas Müller. He makes it 1-1. Kroos. As at Ozil. Ramos relieved the pressure. Kroos. Germany beginning to measure their passes. Just to say that.
Yeah. You don't see many lacklustre performances from the German team, do you? This talks about the purpose and the energy with which they play. I think it actually helps them that they move the national games around the country as well. In Dusseldorf tonight, back at Berlin on Tuesday. And everybody who supports the national team gets the opportunity to see them, it seems, on their own soil.
Played 25 times in Düsseldorf. I've only played more internationals in Stuttgart, Hamburg and Berlin. Since the stadium was rebuilt here, they've played 3 times, won 1, drawn 1 and lost 1. They were beaten by Norway here back in 2009, I think it was. Spain trying to rediscover the rhythm that dominated the opening half an hour. That's a poor ball by Thiago Müller and Boateng.
They weren't quite holding firm at 1-0 down, the Germans. Spain looked the more accomplished side and created a couple of hard opportunities. The final ball let them down on occasion, as it would happen. They didn't panic. Slowly got themselves back on into the game first of all.
Flag raised against Rodrigo Moreno, but a brilliant shift of feet by Iniesta.
There's a touch from Muller just to set himself. Ball is just moving a yard or so away. There's no pressure on the ball, it has to be said. He scoops it up, doesn't he? And it has to be something special to beat De Gea, and that was. Who I think is the best goalkeeper in the world.
But Neuer presumably will be back if he stays 100% fit to challenge that role as the #1 goalkeeper in the world in the summer in Russia. Here's Hector. Kroos. Left back again. Deep cross. Jordi Alba's header away was a bit risky to head it back in there. Kimmich. Left-footed dink. And Koke was there. Here's Isco. A terrific first half, he's fouled.
This is Julian Draxler's sole contribution to the football match so far. 40 minutes played and he fouls Isco and then hoofs the ball off the field. I don't think he's been yellow carded actually. It's a little bit harsh. Isco just runs into him. Yeah, it's so difficult, but you're just supposed to stop with your opponent and then just vanish, get yourself out of the way, allowing free passage to move forward. Sometimes those free kicks, I think, are, I won't say petty, but unlucky for him.
I didn't see a yellow card from Willie Collum there.
He shouted guys as if to say calm down to everybody, and then he decided, well, it's a friendly after all.
He was a head teacher at one stage, I think, Mr. Collum, then concentrated on his refereeing, then he went back into teaching. I think he taught religious education in Scotland. Here's Isco. Iniesta.
Well, there can be an experience watching Spain play in full flight.
Isco buzzes again, nags away at Germany. Iniesta back to him, sumptuous move but offside. But he's always looking for a killer pass, Iniesta.
You just have to be close. Germany have got 4 players around him, but nobody within, what, 3 yards.
Is he offside there?
Yeah, he was, just about. It was tight.
He played 90 minutes 4 times this season, Isco, often substituted. There's a sloppy pass off towards Thiago, who has actually kept his discipline and sat in there. Koke's helped him out. That's what they're playing for in the summer. That's not the exact one.
I hope not, because it's not where it should be.
Pickles the dog has long gone. Working against Macclesfield Town. Good Friday, 2:45 from Vanarama. Macclesfield top, 3 points clear at the moment, of course. Going very well. Yeah, Pickles the dog, if you don't know, was when the World Cup trophy was stolen actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Jules Rimet trophy.
Yeah, the old trophy. And it was found by a dog called Pickles.
Under a bush somewhere, wasn't it, in a bag?
In London somewhere, South London, I think they found it. Couple of minutes to go. Spellbinding first half. for many reasons. So they've got a man over on the far side. Draxler, can he make use of it? He's gone wide, blocked off, good defending, really strong and experienced defending by Sergio Ramos, and he showed a little bit of naivety there.
Even if Ramos didn't really read it, which I believe he did just about, there was no body movement from Draxler. Yeah, it's a standard drag across the body, and unless you shift your body a little bit more, your weight onto one foot, then you're not going to unsettle a good defender like Ramos that easily.
In the team for 13 years, Ramos, since he made his debut against China, March 2005. He's played in all the big tournaments since then. Kroos, reverse
fullback,
ball.
I believe, was it initially when he came in the side? Because it was Piqué and Puyol. That was his position at Sevilla, I think, more often than not as well.
I think he's a much more disciplined defender with Spain than he is with Real Madrid, where
can lose his head.
Yeah. I've been told that Pickles found that Jules Rimet in Norwood, South London. There you are. Here's Khedira. And once again, Ramos well placed. What a career he's had with Real Madrid. 14 trophies, 550 plus games, but the 24 red cards. It's Carvajal. Only his second appearance of the season for Spain. Carvajal, he played in the 3-0 win against Italy.
It's been a high quality 45 minutes, not quite with the intensity or the urgency, indeed with some of the discipline that you would expect from both of these two sides, with nothing at stake, barring reputation, and of course, you know, people are playing for places.
Well, it has been a fascinating first half of football. Rodrigo Moreno, and I think we'll see a fair few of these in the second half effort, because they've got responsibilities to the clubs as well.
Yeah, of course, you know, there's almost all of these guys are involved with big clubs fighting for honours. Saul, of course, Atletico Madrid midfield man. We just saw that they'll be playing Sporting Lisbon in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. And yes, you know, just give the opportunity for a few guys to have a little bit of a rest. It's a tough end to the campaign when you are involved at the super high level.
It's brilliant in the European Under-21 finals in the early summer. So absolutely superb. Thought Spain were going to win it. They rested a lot of players for the final group game, I think it was, and never really rediscovered their rhythm. Saul is on for Spain. Silva is staying. We were talking actually during the break, saying I wouldn't be surprised if he replaced Koke's clubmate.
Yeah, well, we saw Thiago return to the field, so he's still with us for the time being.
Silva is out there as well, just looking around to see who's gone off. But he's had a wonderful spell with Atletico Madrid, greatly consistent. He's only missed 4 of their last 91 games. He's scored 6 goals this season for them. Hasn't netted for the Spanish side yet. And Willie Collum, the referee, just checking both sides. Can't see any German substitutions.
No, I don't see Iniesta, so it's like he's been given the rest of the evening off.
Well, he had a wonderful first 45 minutes. I think they're going to have to nurse him, or that's probably the wrong word, manage him very carefully through the World Cup finals in Russia, because he's 33 years of age.
Yeah, he's been managed at club level for Barcelona. He doesn't finish too many games either. Sensible, isn't it, when you've got a guy who you feel will still be key for you? Why flog him, if you like, when you have capable replacements?
Well, they brought on a capable one in Sal, that's for sure. And Koke's teammate is still on there, bottom of your picture, wearing number 8. But we do expect a lot of second half substitutions. Koke actually was a peripheral figure, I felt, in the first half.
Yeah, he was. He's one of those guys who, you know, you can't really say he's a holding midfield player. He gets forward quite a lot for his club side, Atletico Madrid. But he's not someone who really troubles the goal-scoring charts too often either. He certainly links up the play, and sometimes that's just what you need in top sides, in all sides. Actually, good continuity plays. You don't make too many mistakes. They're pretty disciplined, efficient in most areas of the field. Koke certainly is. He wouldn't be playing at the club he's at unless he's a top-class footballer.
Here's Werner, strong run from him, just nudged at the last moment. It's a corner kick. Good positive run, and I think that's probably what Joachim Löw has told him. Go out and enjoy yourself more and be more positive.
Direct when the opportunity's there, no doubt about it.
Germany have started the second half well. Kroos, Draxler. Oh, terrific effort and a fine save too. It was veering in the air from Julian Draxler. That's his best moment so far in the game.
This time De Gea is equal to the shot, which is a super strike from Draxler. The same sort of, that's a great save, same sort of technique actually, but more backlift, a little bit more momentum actually addressing the ball.
Really good goalkeeping. And he's on the edge of the penalty area. If it comes out in the dropout zone, there he is. Khedira's ahead of him, make sure he's on the side. There is Sami Khedira, and it comes off Koke, and it's another corner kick for Germany. There's more urgency in the German play at the start of this second half than we saw in the first period. Draxler with the cross, poorly played.
Well, they can play good possession football, Germany, no doubt about it. The fact they've become more and more with that kind of side in the last 10 or so years since Joachim Löw has been in charge. It started actually with Jurgen Klinsmann, but they can also be very direct. All of a sudden they can turn on the burners and become very forceful and very effective, of course, so quickly. And that's why you can never write them off at all the big tournaments.
Müller around the corner. Here's Ozil. Yard to his space. Ramos has been drawn out there. Ozil's got the pass to Kimmich, and it was just seen at the last moment by Jordi Alba. Piqué looked uncomfortable there with the ball played into a tight area.
Yeah, once again, the good play is if you pressurise them, you force them to decide whether they want to play or overplay, especially in those defensive situations. And you will draw the error. And as good as Spain are, Germany will always have players who can trouble you and can take the game away from you.
Plenty of errors early on in the game from Germany, but we know they're resilient, of course. This wonderful record in World Cup football. They've only once ever failed to reach the last 8, 1938. And they've reached the last 4 semi-finals at least. That's a record. In comes the cross from Hector, and away in there by Piqué. Spain under pressure at the start of this second half. Thiago.
Well, since I've been watching international football, I remember one mediocre World Cup, if you like, 1994, and perhaps 1978 as well. Apart from that, they're pretty much right on the money.
Here's Silva, steered away by Hummels, and taken in his stride by Mesut Ozil. Didn't break stride. Werner. Really good start of the second half by Germany. They're purring now. Ozil took one touch too many. Didn't one have a go first time, did he?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure it was actually set for him to hit first time. Once again, he's got to control it with his right foot. Jordi Alba's coming across pretty quickly, but I just don't think that he really meant it. I mean, he didn't have enough determination really to put his foot through the ball, put his body, his shoulder into the opposing player and be in charge.
Piqué didn't look comfortable when the ball came to him. I wonder if he's got a little bit of a problem. He's going off anyway to be replaced by Nacho, the Real Madrid defender. It's his 15th international for Spain. Wasn't in the squad in Euro 2016, but he made a couple of starts in World Cup qualifying.
Committed player, Sami Khedira. Yeah, this was the challenge, that full stretch, him and Thiago colliding. And the big number 6 comes off worse.
Well, they'll take no chances. They respect what Juve have coming up around the corner. Still in the Champions League, of course, and will play his old club Real Madrid.
Yes, anybody you would imagine is feeling something. Sometimes you know you can run off the knocks that you pick up in these games, but any slight strain, shouldn't be taking any chances with that. I'm sure that he'll be able to make that decision himself without Joachim Löw's intervention.
Thiago. Okay. Germany preparing to send Gundogan on. And just sit in that position, one would think.
He doesn't really like to sit there, does he, Gundogan? No. So a lot more pressure on Toni Kroos to be the disciplined one. He's now in the middle of the Spanish side. There's some help for Koke and Thiago in particular. He likes to get forward himself as well. They've got Saul, who's very much a sitter, or more of a sitter than those two.
So Sami Khedira's evening is ended. On comes Ilkay Gundogan, Manchester City player. It's his 23rd international. Only his 3rd of the campaign. He missed Euro 2016 and the World Cup finals 4 years ago through injury. Cruelly hit. Draxler tried to pick out the pass, and Saul was there. Isco, I haven't seen a lot of him in the second half. Alba. And Rodrigo Moreno, I think, had strayed anyway. And Matt Hummels. Have it, son. There's Iniesta. And Cesar Azpilicueta. Scored 5 goals in the under-21 finals in the summer, did Saul.
Yeah, covered a game against Lokomotiv Moscow. Just 12 days or so, the first leg where he scored a screamer at home from some 35 yards or so. Maybe not quite that. He doesn't get too many, and that was a spectacular one.
That's half a dozen this season, isn't it?
That's not a bad return, actually, from his position. In fact, that's a pretty good return.
Rodrigo Moreno, Isco. Now Silva. Spain have played well within themselves in this second period. Saul. Pass off, and it's come here to Thiago. The big setup, Jordi Alba forward. And you can see why he's got a couple of goals in his last 2 internationals.
He was just a bit too far away. As soon as this ball is reversed from Thiago, it's got to be 3-4 yards further, and then he can hit it first time once he took the touch, and then Jerome Boateng was quick to close him down. Once again, the confidence, a real silky play. Of course, it's not quite at full intensity this match, but it's a joy to watch still.
Thiago. Poor crossfield ball. And Hummels was onto it, and that's a fine crossfield pass to find Timo Werner, and stolen away by Koke. Took a little bit of a risk back to Jordi Alba, but here's Thiago, and now David Silva, and Spain beginning to find their rhythm again. I wonder what change it would bring to the game if they send Diego Costa on. Silva, Isco, Dani Carvajal.
He might get spiky all of a sudden. Boateng and Hummels will know that there's a match going on. They've not had it easy so far, but they've had to be concentrated the way they watch the ball, don't watch it too much, watch the players moving at the same time, which of course is very difficult, but that's when you find a guy who's right up against you and he's making life difficult physically for you. That's always a test.
Moreno, Rodrigo Moreno, back to Silva. Silva, the little wriggler, in comes across, brilliant move, Isco, fine stop, breathtaking move, and here come Germany on the counter. Müller with the big switch, Werner has stayed onside, Özil's in the middle, and it's blocked by Ramos. Carvajal was a bit hesitant. Draxler, chance here for Gundogan, he's placed it, and a fine save at the other end. What a very good passage of play.
And a fine stop at the end from David De Gea to match the one that was made a few moments earlier from Ter Stegen. This is a good block. I know the ball is coming straight towards him, but still he spreads himself. He never overcommits himself, to Stegen. You don't see him going down too early. Even when he does, those arms are always spread out. This time it's the thigh that blocks the ball.
Cross looks for Werner, and again he's misjudged. He did one in the first half. Misjudged a cross in. Not his strength, that.
He got too close to his teammate. And in the end, by the time the ball arrives at you, it comes over your teammate and somebody else as well. So difficult for you to react, as you said, Jonathan, absolutely right. It's not a natural thing for him just to pull away and wait for the flight of the ball before making the run.
Kroos, Kimmich, Gundogan, Draxler.
That's a shame. Just a little bit heavy. Because Hector's got a good left foot. He would have put that ball in first time. Well, he wants them to press out the field. Here's a crossfield pass. Beautiful ball from Hummels on his weaker foot.
Yeah.
Then there was no support for Werner. Ozil is the one who's in the box, but he's not going to score too many goals if they even come in head height for him. A bit slow to get forward and support.
Okay. Just go back to him. Silva couldn't keep it in play. And another change for Spain. And another Real Madrid player. Who's going to come on? Marco Asensio. Wide player. Can play as a second forward, replacing Isco. Only 21, player from Mallorca. Had a very good first half, Isco.
Yeah. Once again, just giving him just under an hour. Make sure that you're keeping all the club managers, who of course are watching. They've got their eyes across about 4 or 5 games tonight, haven't they?
And Spain pressurising Kimmich. Saul, Thiago.
Asensio can be a little bit more direct than almost all the other Spanish midfielders on the ball right now. He's probably the quickest of the lot now on the field. He's a guy when the play is good in the middle of the park. So, well, if they can bounce it off a forward, more likely Diego Costa if he's on the field, then Asensio is adept at making those runs in behind. He's still a kid, and he will certainly improve his ability, to read the situation nice and early.
And his debut a couple of years ago against Bosnia, it was European Under-19 title winner in 2015. Asensio.
Of himself and Isco, I think they were big players for Real Madrid last year because they all so often produced when they came in from the bench when the big boys weren't able to get things done. Those guys came in and were very productive, and meant that the Liga champions were crowned because they had so many game changers who could come on and influence proceedings as much as the likes of Ronaldo, of course, did. Similar sort of role, of course. I think he's got to perform for the national side. You don't see him as a starter, do you, for the World Cup?
No, I don't think so. Silva, it's crucial for Spain, as we mentioned before, how they manage Iniesta in what will be his last World Cup finals. It will be Silva's last World Cup finals as well. His third and last. 6 major finals for him in all. Just a little bit showboaty, that attempted clearance.
A great season, David Silva. I think he's actually in the form of his life. The number of goals he scored is a fine goal scoring form. Kevin De Bruyne has got so many plaudits so far this season, but I think Silva in the last couple of months has gone ahead of the Belgian in terms of his productivity.
Well, for Manchester City, he has 9 goals this season, 60 in all in his 339 games, but he has created 113 goals.
So Borussia Mönchengladbach manager, whose name has just gone from my head completely to the left of the 2 guys we were focused on.
What do you think the German press will make of this performance? Because they can be very critical. The Spanish press can be murderous.
I think there's quite a bit of grace in the bank, if you like, for this group of players, and indeed for the head coach. I don't think they'll be overly critical, irrespective of the scoreline tonight, whether they're able to get themselves a winning goal or indeed they lose this game. They'll know that there's a long way to go, that this is preparation, things that will be tweaked. And remember, this is a top-class side that they're playing as well.
Only a slight tweak was needed on that ball up to Silva and he would have been through. Seems to be having a further forward role now, Silva. The Spanish fans here, based in Germany. Spanish fans never used to travel in great numbers until the golden generation.
Yeah.
Well, you'd travel anywhere to watch them, wouldn't you?
Of course you would, wouldn't you? Since 2007-8, when they came into their own. Fantastic following in South Africa in 2010. Dieter Hecking.
That's right.
Mönchengladbach coach. We're hoping that Lars Stindl may come on for... Is he available today? Is he involved?
Yes, he is. He's on the bench. And a wonderful Confederations Cup. It's a good ball by Draxler. Werner! Close, but no cigar.
Weight to the pass was good, just a little bit wide. Not able to wrap his foot around it.
Did he get a touch there, De Gea?
It looked like.
That run was very closer-esque.
He's got a little bit more pace than closer.
Yeah. I think he got clipped there, Werner. Carvajal just clipped him.
Probably used up more energy than the likes of Klose, and certainly than Thomas Muller, because I said he's a little bit quicker, so he's got more to offer in that respect. If he does, if we just shave off a little bit of that work he does outside the box and save it. But of course, when you are still quite new to the team, then you have to put a shift in to impress. Just always wait for the service.
Diego Costa is waiting to come on. His first international since June, when he scored against Macedonia. I don't think he's a man who knows the meaning of the word friendly in terms of football. So competitive. Here's Kroos into the box, lovely run forward, and off the top of the woodwork from Hummels. Beautiful set-piece routine.
Yeah, that was nice to see. A right smile. Should have scored, and he knows it, Mats Hummels. Either that or you head this back across with Thomas Muller. Completely free, gets in between Sergio Ramos and Jordi Alba. And Muller wanted it back across, if that's not going to go in the back of the net. Good chance.
Diego Costa comes on. Your thoughts on Rodrigo?
He's a nice, tidy player. I think he's quite similar to Timo Werner in that he runs well in between defenders. I think he's a guy who needs a service. I'm sure he will get it playing for the national side, no doubt about that. In great form for Valencia, took his goal superbly well. Don't often get too many touches actually as a striker for the national side for Spain, but when you do, they have to be right on point, you have to be clinical. They've had that with top class strikers the last 10-12 years, and Rodrigo looks as if he could be another one.
And they played with a false nine, didn't they?
Yeah.
Without a classic centre forward. They were credited with being the first nation ever to do that, but if you go back to the wonderful Hungary side, I think you'll find they did it.
I think that they actually need one, as well as they play, and you know, with the ball in these areas is fantastic. The way they can just manipulate and completely destroy some teams mentally. They need that focal point, and I think the reason why they turn themselves into very good international sides, into world beaters, is because of the pace, the direct running and finishing ability of the likes of Torres, in particular in terms of the pace. He was able to stretch teams, and then David Villa's cleverness around the box. So those two strikers really took Spain, I think, to a different level, because they've always had players who could really manipulate the ball throughout the 80s and 70s, if you like, and certainly throughout the 90s. Never quite had that killer instinct up front. I think that gave everybody else a lot more confidence.
Anyway, Sane getting ready to come on for Germany. Friendly matches of this nature do tend to fragment in the second half, but the fans have really enjoyed it. The atmosphere is terrific.
Yeah, I think it can be a little bit more disjointed when you bring on quite a few rookies, guys who are probably not quite at that level. They're looking to see if they can really match up to some of the superstars on show. I think the changes that we've had so far, so some of these guys are pretty accomplished already. Sane is one of the best young players in European football right now.
So a good run actually of 90-minute performances for Manchester City. Meanwhile, Asensio with a cross. Silva did well to readjust, because I think Costa got a touch in the middle, but he couldn't find the back of the net. Good chance for Spain, that.
Measured cross, he waited, didn't he, Asensio? Had a little look up. It's a super ball, I think. Ooh, another 5 minutes on the field. Diego Costa is just a yard further forward, and he can head that goalwards. He did get a touch.
The reason I mentioned that run of games, Manchester City not being subbed, I think it shows a growing maturity at City for Sane. Wonderfully talented player, and has 12 goals this season for them. This is his 10th game for Germany. He's failed to find the back of the net yet. Had one starting qualifying for them. But just over 10 minutes, the European Championship finals last summer around from the bench.
I think his progress, Jonathan, has been highly impressive the last couple of seasons, because the last couple of times I saw him play for Schalke, though yeah, he's a bright young talent, he could be a big player, but I certainly did not expect it so soon. Guardiola's done a fantastic job to bring him up to the not a level of brilliance, because he showed that already when he was in German football, but he seems to be doing it every single week.
Here's Silva. Nacho. Saul. Jordi Alba tried to sneak it through to Asensio, well read by Kimmich. Both had work to do. Referee pulling it back for the foul on the young fullback. I saw Leroy Sane. What really impressed me about him this season, Man City played at Crystal Palace. Effenly had a stinking first half. Absolutely awful. Nothing went right for him, and he didn't hide in the second half. He came out, he wanted the ball in the second half. He really wanted it constantly, and he turned his game around. He showed great courage that day, I felt. Now here's Hector. Sane. Back to him from Mesut Ozil. Here's Gundogan. Kroos. Ozil, side-footed ball round the corner from Hector.
Just a hopeful ball more than anything from Hector. Difficult for anybody to read that.
Do you think we saw enough from Julian Draxler today to suggest he'd be in the German starting lineup for the opening World Cup game?
One word answer, no.
That's massive, that game against Mexico. It's in Moscow. If they win that game, Mexico they've got a habit, of course, of getting out of the opening group at World Cup finals, and It'll set them up nicely. Beat Sweden in the second game and they're through.
Yeah, you don't see Germany not going through, do you, from their group? Spain as well, of course. That's a mouth-watering clash against Portugal, the opening game. Of course, they would be expected to advance.
Lucas Vazquez is going to come on to replace David Silva. Decent season with Real Madrid and his 8 goals. Although they've fallen short of their high standards still in the Champions League. Scored against Borussia Dortmund at home in that competition for them this season. Came to the youth team ranks and they send him away to Espanyol and brought him back again.
I don't think Rashler is a good player. He is. I don't think he's not getting enough game time at Paris Saint-Germain. With all the quality that they have on show, who knows, with Neymar's injury right now, make it a few more minutes, a few more starts, certainly.
There's a story in the Spanish press today linking Neymar with a move to Manchester City. Certainly he doesn't seem happy at Paris Saint-Germain, but big rumour, of course, was it was going to go back to Spain, but not Barcelona, to Real Madrid. Lovely ball around the corner, looking for Diego Costa. Boateng's been secure looking.
I would imagine Costa's got a point to prove. He didn't play football until January. It's a long, protracted and somewhat acrimonious departure from Chelsea to Atletico Madrid. Certainly be fresh and eager to prove a point. I don't think there's no certainty that he will be the starting forward. And Lopetegui has shown loyalty to players who've been available to him in the last year or so.
You never lose it, Sam. Wasn't a terrific player in his day. Minor success at Stuttgart, Freiburg and Frankfurt. But it was a coach of Stuttgart where he made his name. They won the Cup in '97. They finished runners up to Chelsea, remember, in the Cup Winners' Cup final with Joachim Löw. Here's Sane. Cross. Ozil went outside him by Hector. That was the option, he didn't choose it. Now Hummels. Ramos read it well.
You can't be unhappy being a coach of either of these two nations, can you? Going into the World Cup with so many good players to choose from.
Ozil looking for Hector. Here's Hummels. They're going to squeeze the pressure on again. Kimmich, not a good ball in. In Spain's group, Portugal in Sochi, and Iran in Kazan, and Morocco in Kaliningrad. And they will be expected to come through that group, certainly. Sane.
I thought he stopped then and stood on the ball because he thought he was offside.
I thought I heard a whistle.
Yeah, I did.
It's close. There it is again.
Another one. Well, now they're blowing it so often, the players will be aware that it's a fake one. It's not the referee who's
just an idiotic whistleblower in the crowd. Ozil, Sane, dealt with well by Carvajal. I thought just looked a little bit rusty at this level in the opening exchanges. Only his second international of the campaign. Miss Euro 2016, injured, did the Real defender. That's a lovely ball forward. He's offside.
That's a great ball, and he was. I think it's a good decision. We'll see it again, of course, in the replay. Hummels has got great delivery, hasn't he? It's an easy one to make. Both left and right foot. He's so assured when he's moving forward. Not easy like that. We need to play a straight ball. Not with precision anyway.
Children now to go. What players they have been in their day. And still performing at the highest level. I think if Germany don't make a rash of substitutions, you might expect to see Mario Gomez starting up front against Brazil. Here's Diego Costa! Good block there by Boateng, saved his team. Germany got a bit messy at the back. Didn't look sharp, Diego Costa.
No, a little bit casual, he wanted so much time.
Coquet. Saul will go from range. Always rising.
He does strike a good ball, the Saul Niguez. There's Hector, a little bit casual. Carvalho closes it down, and Costa waiting away. The ball is spinning as well, and if he actually just probably puts his foot on the ball, it stops him spinning. It makes that shot a little bit easier because it was always curling into Jerome Boateng.
Who quietly is heading off to his 5th major finals in the summer. An underrated role in Germany's performances in recent years. And a change coming up for Germany. Got some young talent. Leon Goretzka, he's 23 years of age. We've got Stindl, of course. And what about that? What on earth was that?
A miss kick of enormous proportions from Toni Kroos.
You don't see many of them, do you? 12.5 minutes to go. First half was sumptuous. Second half has been punctuated by substitutions. Curls the corner, and the Boateng was there again. Asensio.
I don't think there's actually much that you can learn from these matches for either coach. Just confirmation of what you already know about your players to begin with, and then the opposition that, yeah, the Germans are good, the Spaniards are good, they're going to be hard, tough to beat.
Werner, brilliantly done. Played a percentage ball, but he knew no one was there really, because he'd looked up, he knew Sane was a little bit delayed in his arrival. Hector, Ozil back to him.
You've got to gamble with Tino Werner on the ball. Koke just comes in, he's making no attempt really to try and take the ball, just trying to nudge him out of play, and Werner's quick enough and determined enough to get past lots of defenders that way. That turn of pace, as soon as he actually accelerated away, then people have got to be really tearing into the box, and not for the first time. Plays in green shirts, a little bit slow to respond.
Goretzka's going to come on from the Schalke 04 club. He was Germany's under-17 captain at the European under-12 championships at that level. Scored in the semi-final and the final against Netherlands. They lost, but he showed his potential there. He was very good in the Confederations Cup last summer, scored 2 or 3 goals. He's got 6 for Germany already in 12 appearances. He's an attacking midfield player.
I would expect him to be in the box if Werner goes past somebody on the far touch line, looking for a tap in.
In his debut against Poland, and again just before the World Cup finals in 2014, they played a lot of young rising starlets, and a couple of places up for grabs in that squad. It was an awful game. It was live on BT, and I was the commentator that night. It was awful. And he had to wait 2.5 years for his second cap. I don't like to say a game was awful, Evan, you know me, but I'll tell you, that was a shocker.
Sometimes it's hard to say they're good when they're not.
10 minutes to go. There's Ozil. Oh, it's gone through for a goal kick. I talked about shocking games in the past. These games coming up for you live on BT won't be half bad. Tranmere Rovers against Eastleigh tomorrow 11:45 in the Vanarama National League. Then the England under-21s in action against Romania tomorrow tea time at 5 on 2HD. Germany against Brazil. Evan and I are lucky enough to be doing that one 7:30 on Tuesday night. And then Good Friday, the leaders of the Vanarama Macclesfield Town at Woking. Off goes Thiago. Quite a second half for him, Evan.
Yeah, didn't quite have the control that they had in the first half. Spain, Germany a little bit more forceful. It's been tough for Spain to actually get the passing rhythm going. As I said, it's a bit too much or hardly any cause for concern, if you like. Julian Lopetegui knows exactly what these players are capable of, and I think everybody tonight is about 75-80%. It's a glamour friendly, isn't it? Just reminding everybody of what's required.
I've just seen one young man at the start of his international come on, Rodrigo Hernandez. They know him as Rodri in Spanish football. He's a Villarreal player and played once the European under-21 finals. He's coming on, and a player about to come on, really the other end of his international career, but still going. Super Mario Gomez, the German Super Mario, that is. Sane, lovely touch. And going up through the gears and pulled back. Tony Kroos looked rather flabbergasted. Sal, the offender.
Don't think he needs to be told what to do, Mario Gomez. He knows where to be.
Been doing enough years.
If that ball comes in the box, you make sure you pull away towards the far post, get yourself behind Sergio. At that point, he's already turned off. Shall I show you my goal record?
288 at club career, 31 for Germany.
Enough said.
He's hacked up. 7 minutes to go. So to Hummels. And Boateng, he's kept the centre-back partnership on. Kroos.
Yeah, I'm sure that PK would have probably seen that most of the game if he'd didn't pick up a little knock.
Hector with the cross, deflected away by Dani Carvajal.
It's one area that you probably won't tinker with as much as any of the others. It is that central defensive pairing and indeed the goalkeeper.
Can managers learn, though, from games like this, even at this level, the players they do know so well? Werner's going to go off to be replaced by Mario Gomez, who's 10 years his senior. Can they learn or find out new combinations, like a new right back, right side midfield combination?
I think you probably know that there's a good chance that it could work. You just want to see at what level it can operate, and that's the reason why you gamble. You'll know from the club play whether the guy from Villarreal can play with a midfield man from Barcelona. The style is pretty much the same, just not being used to playing at the rarefied level, if you like. And that's what you're looking to find out. A player who's playing at one of the mid-table La Liga sides, can he mix it with a Bayern Munich colleague playing against Germany or against Brazil, for example? So that's what you're looking for, just his mental capacity to deal with what's on offer against the best players from other nations.
Won the title at Bayern did Mario Gomez, and at Stuttgart and at Besiktas in Turkey as well. And has played at the highest level in 5 major tournaments for Germany. And here he goes, not known for his athleticism or turn of pace, never really has been. He's 31 now. And his dad's from Spain, by the way. Interesting connection there. Mario has a street named after him in Granada. This is Asensio. Hummels ate him up, gobbled him up. Doesn't get a great press, Mats Hummels. He's been a winner for Germany all the way back to 2009 when he helped the under-21s beat England in the final of the Euro Championships. He donates 1% of his earnings to the Common Goal charity project. Decent man. This comes in from Carvajal. There's Nacho. A bit stumbly-bumbly there. Carvajal again. Wanted to get 90 minutes at this level out of him. And his second international of this current campaign, or this season I should say. 4 minutes to go. Ramos, what a night for him. Casillas has played more times for Spain, 167. And you'd expect Ramos to go and break that record.
Yeah, you'd imagine he's got another three seasons at least in him. Maintains his form for Real Madrid.
Rodri, one of 3 uncapped players in the squad before tonight. He was at Atletico, but they released him because they said he lacked strength. This is a good opportunity here for Lucas Vázquez. Not seen him on the ball since he came on. Sane, seen little of him really. Gomez.
Spain suffered in 2014 because I don't think they had enough fresh faces in the squad. Of course, it's always going to be very difficult to break up the 2010 winning side, but all of a sudden in the space of a game and a half they looked very stale, didn't they? 1 or 2 players looked old, weren't able to respond when required. Well, no, they don't make that mistake again.
There's that old riddle about tournament football. The games come so thick and fast. Spain's opening 2 games within a period of 5 days. Here's Saul. Can work for 4 years, and in the space of 5 days, 2 bad results, you're out. That's what happened to England last time in Brazil. What's he exasperated about? I wonder.
Well, you don't want to lose any matches. Both these sides have been in great form, conceding very few goals. The 2 big favourites for the tournament, along with Brazil, probably France, just behind. You know, it's no drama if you lose tonight. So it's just about getting everybody together again to remind them of what's going to be required. They're probably about 12 to 15 actually on both sides that are almost certainty, and both coaches are not searching for too much more now. We're approaching the end of March and well aware of what's required. There won't be any. I'd be surprised if there are any uncapped players making the squad.
Ozil to Sane. Arsenal to Manchester City. Gundogan's there in support.
Yeah, well read. You see Gomez coming from a long way away, Dani Carvajal.
Oh, that's a poor ball. And it very nearly broke to Gomez. Ramos came back and scooted it out. Needed 30 seconds to go, 1-1.
Yeah, Goretzka was at full stretch and he wasn't able to really divert it well enough to Gomez, who's a little bit off balance. He's actually coming towards the ball. Able to take advantage.
That's a foul by Mats Hummels.
These players could be locking horns against one another in the next couple of weeks. Or will be actually, won't they, in Champions League quarter-finals and the semis.
2 minutes of stoppage time. Here's Joshua Kimmich to Leon Goretzka. Saul's appeal has won the day. It looks as if neither of these teams will be winners tonight. Germany's unbeaten run will be 22, and Spain 17 games without defeat under the new manager.
Well, we know what the club managers will be concerned about. All their players return after Tuesday's round of games unscathed. So there'll be one or two pullouts. Who knows what's wrong with PK and one or two others, whether they will feature at all.
I think Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso got every chance of starting for Spain against Argentina in Madrid. And the Wanda Metropolitano. Well, easy for me to say, Metropolitano.
It'll be foolish not to, actually. Guys who could be important for you in the summer, you not to give them a start. Remember, the squad football at these tournaments is about keeping everybody happy and keeping them sharp as well. You want people who are energised and totally supportive of people who are starting in the team. That means when you give them the opportunity to get some game time, and mentally you keep them alert and helpful and also sharp enough to be effective when they're called upon.
Away by the well-positioned Kimmich, and that's it. Brilliant first half. Germany ahead through, Spain ahead through Rodrigo Moreno. His team bossed it in the opening half an hour, and then Germany found their passes and their rhythm, and Joachim Löw's club side rather levelled it up with a fine goal by Müller. 1-1 effort, deserved result, I think, in the end.
Yeah, a good night's exercise. Spain were probably the better team in the first half. Of course, Germany are never easy to roll over, and they've got enough good players to make a game against anybody, and petered out, didn't it, towards the middle part of the second half. And as you said, a 1-1 draw I think is fair enough. Goalkeepers were involved, a couple of good saves from both these top-class goalkeepers, but nice to see what is going to be pretty much the squads, you would imagine, for the World Cup in a couple of months' time.